We're raring to go.
All right, let's get going. So I'm going to say welcome to our Sharing Shackley Stress and Weight pop-up. You all know the drill, but I'm just going to say quick what to expect. 20 minutes, I'm going to share some information, some stories, and a video. Anybody can leave at the end of the 20 minutes. We will stay on for a quick Q&A for anybody that wants to stay on after. And we'll have a lot of information tonight, so make sure you have a pen and paper if you want to take any notes. So that way we can further discuss that in the Q&A, and your wellness advisor who invited you will also follow up with you after the pop-up. So I want to just start off by talking a little bit about stress. I feel like it's the way of life now in the 21st century, whether you're running late, you have an overpacked schedule, unpaid bills, job, family changes, etc. What you think actually affects your immune system in a big way. And so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the mind and body connection. And one thing that I just want to say off the top is when I encounter negativity, I try to keep in mind, and this is actually something new that I've started, I try to keep in mind that sometimes people are not nice because they just don't feel good, or they're stressed out and don't know what to do about it. So we're going to talk about that mind-body connection. So for example, you can't find your keys. You either laugh it off, find the spare set that you have, or you can yell and stomp and involve everyone in the household. And then your body will definitely react differently if you're responding negatively. And the yeller sees it as a threat and feels like he or she has no reason or ability to cope. So our mission tonight is to help people talk about that, help people feel better, and allow the mind and body to connect in a healthier way. And I'm going to talk a little bit about fight or flight, which I'm sure everybody knows about, but fight or flight, as with the hormones, cortisol and adrenaline are released, and they speed up the heart rate and they pump more blood, bringing glucose to the muscles for quick energy. But the most important thing to remember is that cortisol is like a guest who stops by and doesn't want to go home. It likes to hang around, which can increase appetite when elevated, and it signals our body to eat. And then if it hangs around too long, it turns to fat. And this is when chronic stress comes into play. Oh, we got somebody coming on, Vanessa. Eating is the impulse we follow to relieve stress and to comfort ourselves when cortisol levels are high. But we also have to understand that this is a learned habit. I think a lot of us sometimes feel that we have no control over this, and it does take time, but there are things that you can do to help delay this response. We can unlearn the behavior and really kind of set ourselves on a new path to health. So some of the questions that we need to think about before doing this are really realizing, like, what are the sources of our stress? Are they events? Are they situations? Our environment? Also gauging your stress signals. How do you know when you're stressed? What do you do when you're stressed specifically? And then how do you deal with stress? Do you engage in unhealthy behaviors? Some people do engage in unhealthy behaviors. Some people will exercise to try to reduce stress. There's so many different ways. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about like 8 different ways that we can really reduce stress if you do need some tips and need some ideas for working through that. The first one is physical exercise. We all know that exercise is a big component of our mental health, our well-being. And, it's okay if you fluctuate sometimes, maybe one week you go for a walk or work out every day, and the next week it's only 2 days. I think the important thing is to just try to keep it consistent, but It's never, whatever you do, whether it be minimal or an hour, at least something is better than nothing. Just get up and move. I think it's important. Don't get disappointed or don't get distracted if you don't get out there and do your walk for an hour. Just do something, even if it's 5, 10 little intervals or jumping jacks or push-ups in the house. The next one is cognitive reappraisal, which is basically just a fancy way of saying learning to look at things differently and really creating positive thoughts and responses, which sometimes takes a lot of effort. Sometimes you have to really even write down some affirmations or think about things that work for you to help you create those responses and just think positively, because our initial responses, for most people, your initial response is to think negatively or to react negatively. So it's hard to do if you don't make it a practice. Excuse me. The next one is social support. This is a big one for me. And what I just want to say about that is hang out with positive people, positive thinking people, people that make you happy, and people that support you. That's really important. And then we'll talk about learn delayed gratification. And you can really use this to help build your resiliency. And this is something like, for example, take a step back, count to 5 and walk away. Or, take 5 deep breaths and then say what you need to say. So the gratification along with the positive thoughts, that's also a process that you can work through and figure out what works for you. Another technique is a breathing method, which is called the Sonobe breathing method. And it actually has been found to be effective for weight loss, stress, and depression, specifically in overweight people. So if you can kind of visualize it as I'm saying it, you stand up, extend your hands over your head with your palms intertwined and facing away from your body. So intertwined meaning, like this. And then you lean back with your neck. Lean back with your neck towards your back. There you go. And just inhale for 5 seconds and repeat that 3 times. This is a really good method for people who need something a little bit more than just step back for 5 seconds and go back to, that positive outlook. Sometimes you just need movement, some kind of physical thing to take your mind off of it. Another way is to use your hands. Do an activity that you love. Do a craft. Be creative. Find a hobby. Find something to keep you busy with your hands, specifically on those days that you don't want to, or you don't feel up to going outside or being around people. Find something that you love to do that makes you happy, that keeps you busy. And then another very important aspect is sleep. Getting 8 hours of sleep is crucial to your mental health, to reducing stress, and for just watching your weight, your health and nutrition. I can't stress enough the importance of having a good sleep schedule and making sure you stay on top of that. I know sometimes we stay up late, which is fine, but just on a regular basis. Pay attention to those 8 hours, it's important. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, meditation, yoga, visualization, mindfulness, any of those techniques that you have either tried or would like to try. Find out what you enjoy, what works for you to de-stress. Any of these techniques really help to build resilience. And like I said before, it doesn't need to be an hour-long hot yoga class. It can be a 5-minute meditation. Something simple as that, and just kind of building on it and figuring out different ways what works for you. And then daily affirmations. I'm going to end with this daily affirmation. and which could also be one of your positive thoughts or things that you can say out loud to yourself. And it's, I expect good things to happen, and they do. So try not to focus on, you know, if I do this, it will happen. You say, I expect it to happen, and it does happen. So now we're going to move on to my BFF, Ruthie, who's going to talk a little bit about our stress relief complex. There you go, Ruthie.
Thanks, Tanya. There are so many benefits to stress relief. I've got a list here, a partial list, I'm going to read from so I don't leave anything out. But stress relief complex helps relax the body and mind and promotes alertness while enhancing the body's ability to adapt to stress. Some of the benefits include quick relief from tension, able to concentrate during stress. It helps to blunt cortisol, a hormone produced during stress. It enhances the body's ability to adapt to continuing stress, maximizes peak mental and athletic performance, helps combat depression and moodiness, lowers blood pressure, and it contains no kava, which can cause severe liver damage. No other side effects either. It also helps with headaches and insomnia, and the list goes on. But I have several examples of how effective it is. My friend was to give a presentation in front of 300 people, and she took about 6 stress relief right before her presentation. And she said she just sailed right through it, no hitch whatsoever. It really calmed her jitters and helped to get her through that very stressful time. I have another friend who just insists that she not live without stress relief. She takes it every day because she's got a high stress environment like so many of us do, especially nowadays. I had a dental appointment the other day where she was doing quite a bit of drilling and stuff. So I popped a couple of stress relief before my appointment, and I just let her do what she needed to do. So it really helps to even out those jitters, but yet it doesn't make you sleepy, and also it doesn't like let you down after a while either. So stress relief is a really good thing to have on hand for those times. And now over to Adiba, who's going to tell us about Mood Lift.
Hi, thanks. A lot of great information. So I'm gonna just briefly show you a slide that you can read most of the information on there. But I wanted to personally share a testimony with you. The Mood Lift is an incredible product for me. I totally feel the difference. And one of them is just from stress for me will cause some anxieties as well, and wanted to share this product. There's some a lot of great research on the St. John's wort that many people might know about already. And what I wanted to point out that was really a big thing for me to realize is that if you see on the bottom here, it actually supports and plays an active role in the proper transmission of our nerve signals. And it's such a huge thing because our nerves, impacts everything. And as you read the different impact or the different results that you can get from this product, I do want to point out that, we are only sharing nutritional information. It does not replace any kind of medical advice. So when it gets into depression or if you're on any medications, please consult your doctor. But here are some of the benefits down on the left, side of the page, that what it can help with. And as everyone mentioned today already, that when we're stressed and our mood is impacted, and then our chemicals in our body, like the cortisol, is impacted, then it also impacts our weight. And that's what our focus is on today, is how to really help our bodies heal physically, mentally, emotionally, so we can maintain a healthy weight. And with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass it on to my BFF Sharon to share some more information so we can stay right on track and give you lots of great info. Sharon, go ahead, take it away.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Adiba. I'm going to talk about B-complex, and I think a lot of you have heard me talk about this, but there could be people on this call that haven't. I worked for IBM for 44 years, and during a couple of those decades, I had huge wrist things on for my carpal tunnel. And I liked what Tanya said about we need sleep, but I would get to bed and my arms and wrists would be killing me, but yet they would be numb. So you would think if they're numb, I wouldn't be able to have pain, but it was awful. And I would jump up and shake them. And so, you know, I really was not getting good sleep. But one thing I was reading up on, we have another book, sort of like our Nutrition and You, called An Ounce of Prevention. I don't know. I think Adiba probably has it. But I was reading about that, and they were talking about carpal tunnel. And not that carpal tunnel is necessarily exactly stress, but boy, it can stress you out with the pain and the lack of sleep. But I was reading, and there's another product that they were saying really helped carpal tunnel. And all these years, I've given all the credit to B-complex, but they said together, these two products will really help. And the other one you've heard me talk about before is lecithin. It's a fat emulsifier, but it also helps with carpal tunnel. So the two together, and I've always taken lecithin, so I don't know which one really is doing it or together. But I always thought, oh, B-complex, because it's nerves and nerve endings and all that. So I'm going to turn it over now to my BFF, Billy.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk tonight about the Shaklee shakes, and we've covered this area before, but I just wanted to reiterate that the shakes are a meal in a glass with protein, essential vitamins, and minerals that we need on a daily basis. And all it takes is 2 scoops of the powder to give you the energy that you're looking for. And it has 20 grams of ultra pure, non-GMO, keto-friendly, essential amino acids. And they're gluten-free, vegan-free, and they help support your heart, your brain, your vision, your bones, your immune system, and your overall health. It also includes 120 grams of calcium and ALA, which is an essential omega-3 fatty acids. You also get support with your digestive system and your regularity with 6 grams of dietary fiber with each serving to include prebiotics. It's perfectly sweetened. It's a low glycemic meal, so it helps with people that are diabetics. It helps you to maintain a healthy weight, powered by leucin, which helps to build lean muscle, burn fat, and support your metabolism. You can also customize the shake with 8 ounces of your favorite milk or water, and you can add your favorite fruits and vegetables or any of your favorite nut butters. Shaklee shakes are creamy and always delicious, and they come in 4 different flavors. And you can choose between soy protein or plant-based protein. So at the current time, we have elderberry, which is a seasonal. We always have one seasonal, and that's my all-time favorite. So I'll just turn it over to Tanya for the closing remarks. Tanya?
Yes, hi, welcome. Well, I'm going to say welcome back to myself, I guess. I just want to acknowledge that we did start a few minutes late. I just have a video that I'm going to play real quick. And then, like I said, if you want to hang out for the Q&A after, you're definitely more than welcome to. So let's share the screen. Oh, let me optimize.
Is today the day you make a choice to eat better, sleep better, exercise more? Healthy living isn't some impossible goal. It's a choice you can make right now. And you don't have to go it alone. So maybe it's not when will you make the choice. Rather, when will we?
Love to see Vanessa on video if you're available, Vanessa.
Hello. Thank you
Hi.
for this helpful information. I'm definitely going to look into those, this complex, the stress-free complex that you guys have, because I have a very stressful job. So anything that will help is beneficial.
What do you not to put anyone on the spot, if anyone wants to share what works for them as far as stress relief, because today, you know, we're connecting how stress impacts our weight. And the big thing that many of us know now is that that cortisol level in our bodies impact that. Does anyone have a favorite stress reliever that they practice that helps them?
Running.
Well, I was just going to say, I take the stress relief. I do think it helps. I do believe that it helps. I mean, but I also take the B complex and the other things as well. But I've started giving it to my husband and my daughter. They have a lot more stress going on at the moment. So, you know, and I don't really get any, I'll say flack when I give it to my husband. He's been reluctant to take many vitamins over the years just because of sensitivity to his stomach or whatever. But his parents' health has suffered greatly with the isolation associated with the pandemic. And that's created a lot of stress that he's not encountered before. And I really do think it's helped him as well as my daughter too. So she works the night shift at a hospital here in Durham on the orthopedic floor. So, you know, it's just, people have their own things that they're dealing with. And I definitely think taken consistently, it is a benefit. I really do.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, breathing for me definitely makes a huge difference as far as a breathing, taking those very intentional, slow, deep breaths in and out make a huge difference. And I absolutely know the mood lift, the stress relief, and the B complex. And like, so everything that I'm taking, I know has a huge impact. The stress relief, it feels like it's almost instant, but it's probably like 15 minutes or so. I will feel it's like this mental clarity and some calmness that kind of sets in after I take it. And I just really love it because I know stress affects people different ways. My clarity of thinking is kind of goes out the window, which creates more stress, and then I feel bad. It's like such a vicious cycle. And the mood lift, I start taking it regularly, and I didn't cover that on the slide, but the recommended dosage each day is 1 to 4 capsules, and that's because you can take as little as 1 capsule and it will help you. It takes a few weeks for it to actually kick in, the mood lift, but then you don't have to continue to take the 4 all the time. So it's something that you can chat with, your own wellness advisor to work through that and give it a chance. That it's not like the stress relief complex, it works so quickly, but it's a long-term process. So wait, I believe it says up to 6 weeks before you can see the results from the St. John's wort, which is the mood lift.
Where the B complex to me is like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And the B complex, it's water soluble. And I remember way back, someone gave me this visual of how fast we use B in our bodies. And they said, if you are running behind like 10 minutes in the morning, getting ready for work, your body uses up all your Bs. So that's how much that your body is constantly needing the B complex. And it's water soluble. So if you happen to take too much, it's just gonna pass.
Oh yeah, just make your tinkle even more bright.
Yeah, but when you think, like if it's
Interesting, I didn't know that, Adiba.
With the lateness, with the running behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when you imagine any type of activity, something where you're rushing and you're trying to get there, or trying to get something done, your body is needing so much Bs that you're depleting it. And then when you don't have the Bs, it impacts your mood. We call it the happy vitamins in our family. And one of the things that come up sometimes, I think that is challenging, is that sometimes, because I've experienced it myself, where you get so caught up in not feeling good, and your mind, like those negative thoughts take over, and it's like, I don't want to eat, I don't want to take any vitamins, I don't want to be with anybody. And it's a great reminder to say, as humans, we need that. We need the nutrition, we need the sleep, we need to get by, like Tanya was saying, get with people that can uplift you and support you. Because it's very common to just want to, get under the cover, pull the cover over your head, and it's like, just leave me alone. But I very intentionally remind myself, let me connect with people that are uplifting. Let me make sure I take my protein and make sure that I'm getting enough sleep and take my vitamins, even if I don't, because sometimes people, and I've done it where I lose the appetite when I'm too stressed, I don't feel like eating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to have line up the things that you know will work for you. Because if I wait until I'm, feeling down and depressed, or whatever you want to call it, and stressed out, and I don't have a plan in place, then it can become a bigger issue, and then I can withdraw even more. So just have a plan in place, have your B complex ready. That's the quickest thing that can work. And then the stress, make sure you're eating, exercise, know what you like to do. Journaling is another one.
I keep the B right by my bed.
Awesome.
Because sometimes I'll feel that's coming on and I'll just take a couple.
I do sleep better with the B right before bedtime. If I take it too early, then I'm like all energized. But if I take it right before I go to sleep, right, I sleep better.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? This is being recorded, and we're going to be sharing it with others who were not able to be present at 7 Central Time.
Or 8.
I know.
All right.
Central Time. Okay.
Well, great.
Is that a wrap?
We're all good.
Okay.
Yes,
Ladies,
it's a wrap.
Hopping on, and
talk about that, about how
Yes.
much the support structure and and maybe how financial stress can also impact
Yes,
the telomeres.
yes. If people don't trust their neighbors in their neighborhood, we see consistently shorter telomeres. And if people are in, a really sort of horrendous situation as children, where they're exposed to violence, where they're exposed to abuse, where they're exposed to even bullying, even racism, we see quantitative effects on the telomeres. And then the converse is that we see people whose meaning in life, which is very interesting because it sounds very abstract, but that quantitatively was relating to the capacity to maintain their telomeres.
So one of the things I've discovered from meeting hundreds of thousands of Shaklee family members from around the world is that it's an incredibly supportive and encouraging community. So they're actually very happy for other people to be successful.
Yes.
And that makes you happy.
Yes.
And maybe that's part, in addition to the nutrition, that
Yes.
the secret for why Shaklee people have preserved
Yes.
their telomeres better than others.
Yes, there's really good evidence that suggests when you're very stressed, that actually wears your telomeres down faster. And conversely, when you're not, and when you have this attitude like the Shaklee community, where there are more likely to be positive, sense of, your purpose in life, what you're doing, that you have a community, you care
You're making a
about
difference in
things,
other people
you're
in the world.
making a
Yeah.
difference. Those things have conversely correlated with better capacity to, keep your telomeres built back up. That in turn is really contributing to the likelihood you'll stay healthier longer. And I think that then is going to sort of feed back into people's general ability to be, positive, purposeful people who can live lives that they find have meaning. So they feed back in a really positive way, I think.